Stephanie Silvers. I'm one of several learning specialists at St. Petersburg College, and my main role is to provide disability support services.
And my name is Earl Freitas. I am a faculty member here at St. Petersburg College, and I am also one of the faculty champions who y'all will be learning about during this presentation. Can we have other faculty champions in the room stand up and be recognized?
Yay! And also, too, I wanted to make sure that you'll see me mention numerous times the Disability Awareness Project Manager, which is Peg Connell, who is right there. And if any of you run a conference, you know you cannot run a conference and present at the same time. So it's just not feasible. So pretty much we're kind of representing her in this capacity. So let's go to the next slide. And we just kind of wanted to start very briefly, give you kind of the big picture of the grant. It's a U.S. education demonstration grant, and it's to ensure students with disabilities a quality education program. And how the manager of the DAP grant defined that is student success for students with disabilities. And it's something which she has to specifically measure. And the way that came about was, well, how about it's to ensure a quality education for students with disabilities, how can we do that? And the idea really was to create a wealth of information for faculty on ways to better assist students with disabilities beyond accommodations. And really that's how the faculty champion concept came about, as well as our online training, in which it was trying to, how can we give resources and tools to instructors to better assist students with disabilities just beyond the general accommodations. And the next slide is really talking about, which Earl's going to talk about, kind of the role of the faculty champions.
So basically, who are the faculty champions? They're individuals recognized by program directors and other college leadership who are advocates for students with disabilities. They're faculty who are involved with their colleagues at the campus and college level, and they're recognized by the Disability Awareness Project Manager as folks who are willing to work through the entire process and have a desire to learn. Basically, these people are the folks on the campuses who are passionate to work with students with disabilities. And they're generally the leaders on their campuses, and they're willing and eager to take on a new challenge. Some of the roles of the faculty disability champions include encouraging colleagues to take advantage of the online resource center and workshops offered by the Disability Awareness Project. But faculty champions also help colleagues with questions, share best practices, provide tips, and refer faculty members to the experts in the disability awareness arena at the college. So basically, the faculty champions are considered a gateway to the experts in learning disabilities, and they are also there to provide basic advice and to encourage contact with the learning specialists and point people in the right direction. Can we try out the website? The basic website for St. Petersburg College is really somewhat of a one-stop website for faculty. It's a resource where they can go to get their questions answered, to find solutions, and to contact folks in the disability awareness arena. We have, click on the list of champions, please. A list of every champion on every campus so that faculty can click on that link and find out who on their campus is there as a resource for them. And as you can see, we have about 5 or 6 on average for every campus here at St. Petersburg College. Click on the resources page, please. We have a list of resources that we've collected from other campuses and other institutions who are doing some best practices in the field of disability awareness, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can link to some of the things that are already being done. So those are on this site as well. And then click on Home again, please. and then workshops. We also have quite a few workshops, and we have two different ways that they can be that you can register for the workshops. If you're a college employee here at St. Petersburg College, there's a registration process so that it can be recorded and put into your personnel file and be used for things like professional development. But we encourage folks from different institutions to take a look at these and click on the non-SPC employee workshop, and you can take it without the registration process. And we hope that you find one or two things that you like and think will be helpful at your institution, and encourage your folks to take a look at them. But each one of our workshops not only has video, they have American Sign Language, and they also have captioning. Every one of you in your packets, when you registered for the conference, you have a bookmark. I believe it's entitled Breaking Boundaries, and the website address is on that bookmark. So we encourage you to, when you go to your hotel room tonight, I know it's a beautiful day, when you go to your hotel room, maybe in the evening, take a look at our website, find a few things that you think might be helpful at your institution, and encourage folks to use them. And then a couple more roles of faculty champions are to provide input for the online resource center, also to design a marketing plan, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation. But one of the great strengths of the faculty disability champion model is that the champions are out and about among faculty, among colleagues who they're comfortable with. So they know the questions that need to be answered, and most of their colleagues are actually more comfortable raising issues with the faculty champions. I actually have a colleague, a friend, who told me once she knew that I was a faculty champion that she had a question about a student with an accommodation form, and instead of going to a learning specialist, what's the other term for a learning specialist? A disability support provider. Remember, she's the expert, I'm not. Instead of going to that individual and perhaps looking like she's uninformed or feeling a little bit foolish, she actually just let it go. And I encouraged her later to make that step. And so I think the faculty-to-faculty interaction is one of the great strengths of the champion model.
Thank you, Earl. Okay, we're going to go to the next slide now. Role of champions, the benefits. Well, I think it's pretty clear to see faculty involvement equals faculty investment for students with disabilities. Anything that you take the time, the energy, in feeling like you're getting support and resources and tools, which is pretty much what the Disability Awareness Project is doing, you're going to invest, and you're going to invest more with students with disabilities. Faculty to faculty. Feeling more comfortable with your colleagues. A great example is I used to work at Clearwater campus, and an American government instructor, faculty champion there, said, I kind of have a funny department. I have the psychology, intro to education instructors on one side of the house, and then I have my econ, American government, history, who are very content-based, but not always feeling comfortable working with students with disabilities. Or not feeling that they have all the resources and the tools and the knowledge base. And that's understandable. Their content is history. So she had an econ instructor come up to her and say, I noticed you have the same student in your class, and she's constantly doodling all the time when I'm lecturing. What's that about? And she kind of smiled, and she said, well, how is the student doing in your class? And he said, well, she's performing, she's coming, she's prepared. And she said, just let it go. She'll do fine. She's doing fine in my class. And the American Government Faculty Champion said, based on the training she's had through the faculty champions and dialogue with other faculty champions, that this student's probably doodling just to be able to keep concentrating in lecture. And a week later, the econ instructor came back to her and said, that student just aced the last test and has an A in econ, and the student also has an A in American Government. And the faculty champion also said, I also felt comfortable to have a dialogue with him to ask questions. Is she doing all right in the class? Is she attending class? Is she prepared for class? If he was saying no to those, then that's when the faculty champion said, you know what, you might want to refer that student to a learning specialist, kind of see what's going on. So the faculty champion, it was a perfect example of a colleague, and it was a 5-minute conversation, and that's all that econ instructor needed to hear. So again, it's feeling more comfortable with colleagues, and if needed to, she would have pointed that faculty member in the right direction. In regards to the next slide, the next 2 slides, it's really kind of showing how our college is set up and why online workshops are so beneficial to our instructors. We're kind of divided. We have our south campuses, which is St. Petersburg, Gibbs, which is 41% of our students. And then we have kind of the mid-county, and then our most northern campus, which is Tarpon. But we're pretty much kind of divided between kind of North Campus and South Campus. And from Tarpon to Gibbs, that's an hour drive for instructors. So the reality is to have online workshops is making it a lot more accessible for our faculty members. And to reiterate, colleagues going to colleagues, each campus has their own culture. Clearwater, and also to their own kind of niche or specialty area. Clearwater campus is where our fine arts is housed. Gibbs is where our music department is housed. Tarpon Springs is our College of Education. Seminole campus is where eCampus is housed. And so each kind of has their own little niche. The reality is, if I'm a fine arts instructor, I'm teaching design 2, ceramics, painting, I'm going to go down to the hall to my other fine arts instructor to just kind of run ideas. And the reality is you're probably doing that already. And just to say, hey, I got this student in my class. He's always doodling, or he's constantly tapping his foot the whole time while I'm lecturing. It's driving me nuts. But just to kind of have that open, candid conversation. And then we're providing those champions with that knowledge base to be able to say, that's something you're going to need to be concerned about. That's something you might want to refer that student to, versus, that's just who he is. He's doing fine in the class. Just let it go. And then lastly, supportive administration. This is paramount. Right in the beginning of the Disability Awareness Project, the manager invited vice presidents, associate provosts, and program directors to the collaborative labs. Collaborative labs are an interactive venue for people to kind of brainstorm and to kind of outline or strategically plan. And we were invited, and they were part of that process from the beginning all the way through the end. And when you do that, they're more likely going to refer and to be invested in the process. And for example, with our program directors, we asked them, who would you recommend as a faculty champion? And I think by doing that, a great example we have at Clearwater is the math and natural science program director has on his monthly agenda with his faculty members that faculty champion on the agenda, so that she has that venue every month to discuss with her faculty, kind of report back what she's learned from the champions that have met that month, to issues or concerns that faculty might have with her. But that's where having that program director part of that process in the beginning is to make sure that he's invested, and obviously he has invested, in which he's put that faculty member on that agenda once a month. Okay, support for faculty champions.
Okay, support here at St. Petersburg College for the faculty champions included champions were paid a stipend here at the college through the grants, and it averaged to about 4 hours a month, and the yearly pay for the faculty champions was probably about $1,100. The faculty champions received additional training. They were granted access to all sorts of tools and disability personnel, and they had monthly meetings where they shared strategies, successes, and failures. So basically, faculty champions are exposed to all of the tools in our chest so that they can suggest a starting point for colleagues and even refer their colleagues to a contact person whenever an issue arises. We surveyed our faculty here at St. Petersburg College, and we had 228 respondents to the survey. And of those respondents, 178 said that they have taken online trainings from the Disability Awareness Project. And that number is actually a little bit low when you consider that it's actually 178 unique individuals who have taken at least one online training. Many, I see Darlene shaking her head, many have taken 2, 3, 4, 5 of the training, so that number is actually much higher. Over 91% of faculty feel supported by their campus OSSD office, and I always mix up the S's, so...
Office for Services for Students with Disabilities.
Office for Services for Student Disabilities. Thank you. So that's a great number there as well. The vast majority of faculty who have completed workshops have found them extremely helpful or somewhat helpful. We have had faculty champions or faculty as a whole completing online trainings in departmental meetings at the college. We've even had one campus challenge all of the other campuses to see which campus would participate the most in the online training. So we kind of made a competition, we made it fun, and it's been very rewarding for us. Some of our lessons learned throughout the process. We have had difficulties getting faculty together college-wide or even campus-wide. One of the biggest difficulties, I think, is geography, and Stephanie alluded to that. We have our northernmost site and our southernmost site divided by about 30 miles, but you're in the most densely populated county in the state, and I think we're in the top 10 in the country, so those 30 miles can be almost impossible at times, depending on the time of day. Scheduling can be an issue as well. At St. Petersburg College, faculty have a 5-class, 5 in the fall and 5 in the spring. So you can imagine all the different time blocks where faculty are teaching classes. It's difficult to get common times for everyone to get together. But we've been creative, and we have actually come in and done training and meetings on Saturdays. We've had our faculty coming in on vacation time, which is, I think, a huge testament to the dedication of the folks to this project. And I think if y'all do try to replicate the project at your own institution, you're going to be picking the folks who you know are passionate about this topic and who see the rewards they're going to reap personally and the rewards their students will reap. And I think you're going to find those passionate individuals. 2 more to go. Acceptance and clarification of roles has been an issue or a lesson learned. We've had some learning specialists worry or who were concerned that faculty champions would answer questions or perhaps make decisions that they're not qualified to make. And I think that's a very legitimate concern. But we've done a very good job of making everyone understand that the faculty champions are the spokespeople. They're the gateway to the additional tools and experts. So I think we've conquered that. And then a consistent awareness of the disability project. We've done a really good job with awareness, but we're a large institution, and like any large institution, we have several different initiatives going on at any one time. So you have to fight to get your message out. So there are some more lessons learned that we'll talk about in the next couple of slides. Again, this is some more information from our survey with 228 respondents from the faculty. The first bullet here, nearly 50% of faculty know who or can identify the faculty champions on their campus. This is actually, I think, a pretty phenomenal number because we're asking specifically on your campus, not to name a faculty champion anywhere at the college, but someone who you can walk down the hall to and talk to. Certainly we have a ways to go, and we want and we will get that up to maybe at least 99%. I'm not going to say 100, but we're well on our way. Almost every faculty member who visited the website would recommend it to a colleague. Now we had 228 respondents, and out of the 228, 2 said that they would not recommend it to a colleague. And I see some faculty in the room, and if there's some administrators in the room as well, don't repeat this when you get back to your institution. But anytime you find only 2 faculty who are negative about something, you know you're doing a good job. So we're very pleased with that as well. Full-time faculty have almost universally all met with faculty champions individually in program meetings or campus meetings. And I'm almost certain that every campus at the college has had at least one all-campus meeting with faculty champions over the last 2 years. We wanted to include a few of the quotes from the survey as well. And the first 2 here, well, I wouldn't say they're negative. I think they're the closest thing that we got to negative quotes on the survey, though. And they show that there is definitely room for improvement with our awareness piece on the project. But I think it's also important to understand that just a few months ago, St. Petersburg College finished our SACS reaccreditation, our 10-year cycle reaccreditation process. And for at least the past 2 years, SACS has really been the key focus of almost everything at St. Petersburg College. And ironically, I was the spokesperson for one half of the SACS reaccreditation process, and I'm glad Peg Connell's not in the room right now. She probably has not forgiven me for that yet. But the other person who did far more work than I did is in here as well. So we've got SACS behind us now. But it's good to mention because all institutions are going to have things like that going on. And I think despite the fact that everything here was SACS, we've done a really good job. And then the last couple of quotes: excellent support. I've been successful in meeting with the various challenges of my students. Helpful and supportive options for instructors. These were far more indicative of the majority of quotes that we got from faculty.
So the bottom line is, so how can I implement something like this on my own college or campus? And hopefully you can see that it doesn't always have to be a grant related or grant funded. And that was hopefully the next couple of slides is to say what are some things that you can take from this and maybe implement it. I think first of all you have to have early administration buy-in in the beginning. And when you're really thinking about brainstorming or how can I make parts or pieces of this, is to get that administration support, because that's ultimately who will keep reminding the faculty members, don't forget about your faculty champions, or how can I incorporate my faculty champions in a faculty meeting, etc. And it's really key too to get buy-in from the disability support provider office and working together with that too and clarifying the role. Motivate faculty to enhance the collaboration, exchange of best practices, and support from another. I mean, I think as you work within the department and program directors, that's pretty easy. If you're all on the same page, is to really make sure you do that. And I think take advantage of your in-house experts. I think, as I've just at this conference here, I've been amazed of how many St. Petersburg College instructors have been presenting. And I think a lot of times we have wonderful resources on our own campus, within our own college. I think often we think, we have to get somebody, we have to pay someone to come in. And in some cases that is probably true. But we had a workshop on dealing with students with psychological disabilities. And don't get me wrong, she was excellent. But the biggest comment was from the faculty, but she was from the Northeast. I really would have rather had someone from Florida, or who really understands Florida, or at least the Southeast. And so that always makes me wonder, is there someone maybe here at our college, or someone close by that could have done the same presentation? And I think also too, when you're utilizing and recognizing what you have, it says so much to your faculty. And then advertise. I mean, I think But if you have administration buy-in and you have faculty buy-in and you have OSSD buy-in, then you're going to be able to advertise. But if you don't have those pieces, that's when the advertisement kind of you lose.
And a few motivating factors to get faculty to become faculty champions. Of course, money is always a motivation for just about anything, but we realize that money may not be an option, and I think it may not be an option even at our institution in the near future. But
I think for most.
That's fine. That's all right. But to be honest, it was a fairly small amount. Folks were paid 4 hours a month, and many of the faculty champions have said that we're not doing this for the money. We really don't feel like we need to be paid. So if you're going to get the good, passionate people that are going to come in on the Monday after graduation, I don't think that a few dollars is really going to be the best motivating factor anyway. Most institutions have release time in their board rules or in their faculty handbooks where faculty are required to give service back to the college. And so this is certainly a project giving service back to the college, and I think most of you would be able to arrange release time for your faculty. Of course, recognition and opportunity to grow professionally are huge. Many of the online trainings and seminars have been conducted and created by in-house experts here at St. Petersburg College. And many of those same folks have gone to conferences throughout the Southeast, and so there really are some great opportunities with recognition and to grow professionally. Increased faculty collaboration is always huge. The number one thing that we hear constantly from our faculty is that they want to collaborate more. So anytime that you can get them together to work out issues together, I think you're really going to motivate them to be part of a project. And then powerful classroom strategies. And I can't tell you what a powerful experience it's been for me to become more aware about faculty or students with disabilities. There are faculty with disabilities as well. Obviously, I'm one of them. But as I become more aware of the tools that I can put into my classroom, the varying learning styles that I can address, not only am I helping the students with disabilities become successful, but I'm helping all of my students become more successful. And it's just been a profound experience for me personally and professionally. And I think you couldn't find a better motivating factor than that.
Okay, oh, that's it.
Yep.
Oh, we are done.
So we wanted to leave plenty of time for questions about the faculty champion concept, about the Disability Awareness Project. Anything at all that you'd like to ask? Yes. What would we see is the greatest factor in folks resisting the role as a faculty champion? At this institution, and probably any institution, faculty grumble, this is just one more thing. We've got all these different projects going on. So I think you really need to find a couple of really strong early adopters, folks that are probably in the Learning Support Office, folks who understand how this can be helpful for their teaching. I mean, I had absolutely no idea that this hopefully has improved my teaching. And so I think you really just need a few key spokespeople first, and it's going to build from there. We have doubled our numbers. We actually doubled them, I think, a few months ago. And faculty are actually volunteering to become part of the process. So it's been great. What do I see as my personal benefit? Working with colleagues. I'm a very social person. 3 of my colleagues are here from my campus. So anytime that I can get together and exchange ideas, I really love that. But I also love the fact that I think my students recognize that I'm trying to to make some differences, different strategies in my classroom, and they truly appreciate it. They really do. When they know you're trying, and I know most of you know that, but so often we forget those things. Yes. Are there any plans to expand the program into learning support centers or libraries?
We need Peg for that one, or DAP, or Disability Awareness Project Manager, who just stepped out, so we're not sure. I know that she's up for renewal, but that's all I know.
I think it's a fabulous idea. I mean, I'm a little bit scared of librarians. I have a sister who's a librarian, and frankly, if we had folks who specialized in working with the librarians or things like that, student services, any area of the college, I think it's great. I think it would be a great way to get the conversation going.
I think library, learning support center are the two where you're going to have a wide range of students. Thanks, Matt.
Yes.
You were asking about our experience as champions, and one of my major benefits of this for me has been that I have been able to, when an instructor has said, "Oh, that's just giving them an extra, just making it too easy for them," and it's like, not really. You have to understand that the learning disability behind this is to make the field level. It's not to give them the extra leg up. And I've been able to actually turn a couple of instructors around from that thought pattern, so that's really made me happy.
Thank you, Darlene. And that's an excellent example. Excellent example. And I think it's got to be heard not just from the Disability Support Office. It needs to be heard from administration. It needs to be heard by faculty. And if you keep sending that same message from several people, that's when you can advertise on every corner of your campus.
Well, and the other aspect of it, it makes it safe. We don't have to go into that office and talk to the strange learning specialists and admit to them we have no idea what we're talking about. We can talk to a friend, and the friend is not going to have the answers, but they'll point us in the right direction, and they'll contact someone for us. Yes. There's no question that it's helped to validate. I think as our numbers are growing with faculty champions, but the folks that we're working with, we're all working with a core group, probably a few faculty each, 5 or 6. There's no question that it has been very positive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just think it makes faculty constantly more aware, and when that conversation comes up, it's either to answer it just briefly or to just say, "Oh, but that's what the learning specialist is for." I mean, I think it's forgotten. You're so engrossed in your own world. You've got 5 classes, 5 American government classes, 2 online, and you're going, and you can, the person right next to you is your colleague, and you can just run something by them. And like I said, once in a while that can be answered briefly, but a lot of times it can be, you know what, you really should go see Stephanie about that. But Darlene?
Yeah, that made me think of something else that was a benefit. I've been able to identify to students the OSSD department, where in the past I wouldn't know what to look for. For instance, I had an a soldier returning from Iraq that was suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, and he was taking my keyboarding class of all things, and he was shaking. And so he was concerned about it, and he just happened to mention that he was going to the VA for his appointment, and I said, "Get your documentation when you go. Come back and don't go anywhere else. Walk right into that OSSD department." And he did, and it worked out just fabulous. And he was so thankful because he didn't know that he could do that. So that's another one.
And that's actually one of the workshops that y'all should share with your folks at home, is identifying folks with disabilities, I believe.
Or hidden disabilities.
Hidden disabilities.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right, and I'll let you answer it as well because you're the expert. But I just wanted to briefly mention that this is, 2008. And by law, we have to announce that. We have to announce things like if you're a sexual predator on campus, you have to register. We have to announce, our syllabi are becoming 15-page documents, and sometimes those things get buried. Attendance policy. Sometimes, unfortunately, those things get buried, and the awareness among the faculty that we're creating, we're certainly doing that, but we're trying to do more. We're trying to make faculty make students more aware as well, and maybe focus on it a little bit more. So you're exactly right, but we're trying to do a better job.
Yeah, better. And I think that's more student-focused in the sense of advertising to student, but if a faculty member can reinforce that, that's so much more powerful. So much more powerful. Any other? There's great questions, great dialogue.
Thank you.
Thank you.